I broke into preacher's house. Let me set the scenery. So one day I'm walking through the neighborhood and I'm looking for something to get into. All of a sudden, I got an urge to go up in this certain house. It was sitting off by itself. I was like, I'm going to go up in there. Yeah, it got to be something in there. So I get to the house and there's an antique car sitting back there by the garage area. Not in the garage, but next to the garage. So I check it out. I was like, okay, this old money right here. You know, that's how I'm thinking. So I get my screwdriver out. I go up on the porch. Check out the area. Nobody's there. Get inside. I got my book bag on my back because I was supposed to been going to school. I started walking through the house and everything. So I'm checking it out. Now inside the house, it kind of looked like it's real old and don't look like a lot of money. Now the outside, it look okay. It's straight. But inside, you could tell there wasn't much in here. So I was like, okay, ain't much in here. I'm just walking and on the kitchen table, there's a box. I went over to the box and I was like, okay, let me see what's in here. I opened the box. As I started going through the box, there's a lot of about almost 50 to 60 envelopes, about that big. And the envelopes are like white with, I forgot what the writing said, but I know it said insurance. It was something to do with insurance money. Inside every envelope was a $50 bill. So I'm like, oh man, I done hit the jackpot. So after looking back through about 10 of them, I shut the box back, took the box, put it in my backpack. So I got the backpack on. So I'm walking through the house, just creeping through the house. I'm like, okay, it might be something up in here. You know, it don't look like much, but it might be something up in here. I didn't hit every room because it was the smell of urine in the house. So I ain't really want to be in it too long. So I just looked around real quick. So I turned around. I said, okay, let me get up out of here. As I'm walking out, I hear, ugh. So I'm like, okay, that must be coming outside. Let me peep outside before I walk out here. I look out. It's a man down the road. He just mowing the yard. So you can hear the, you can hear the weed eaters. So I'm like, nah, okay, he down there. The noise started getting closer, but it was a faint noise. I heard it again. So I'm like, dang, is it an animal in here or something? So I started tipping. And I went to tiptoeing down the hall. So I was like, dang. So I'm looking at the rooms, but I ain't touching them. So the main bedroom sitting off right there. So I heard it again. So I tipped over there. Now, when I got in the main bedroom, I saw a walker, and the walker was flipped over. So I looked, and I looked down by the walker, and I saw a foot. 1 foot, a white foot. And I could tell by the look of the foot that it was an older person because you could see the purple and the blue veins, and up under the foot was like a lot of bruising. I knew it was an older person. I can tell by the way the feet look, his foot looked. So I tipped around and I did like this. And I saw the white man laying there on the floor. Man, y'all know my heart like I ain't about to get charged for this because I ain't dead now. So I'm like, man, I don't know what to do at this point. So I'm looking and I was like, oh, man. So I don't know. It just came out of me. I say, hey, you all right? He was like, help me up. And I was like, oh, man. I said, okay, Lord. So I picked the walk up, and when I went to try to help him up, he was like, oh. And I was like, okay, hold on. He was like, I need that wheelchair over there. Now, he had an electric wheelchair that rolls, but it was over there by the bathroom area, and I guess he was trying to get out the bed with the walker to get over there to the wheelchair, and he had fallen. So I went, and it was an electric chair, so I got the chair, drove it over there, put it by. So I went back down to help him. He put his hand on the wheelchair, and I had the other hand, so I braced myself, and I pulled him up, helped pull him up. So when I pulled him up, he sat in the chair and everything. I'm just talking to him, so he ain't really questioning me or nothing. He ain't asking me nothing. He just thanking God that I done helped him up. As I'm talking to him, I'm like, you all right? You need me to call somebody? He was like, no, I'm fine. I'm fine. Thank you. I'm going to be fine. So I'm just talking to him, making sure he all right before I leave. I mess around and look up. And when I looked up by his closet, I saw a clergy robe. Now, if you don't know what a clergy robe is, that's like for pastors and evangelists and people that's of the cloth that wear this when they preach. I started inquiring about the clergy robe. So I'm looking at it. I'm like, I say, you a pastor? And he began to tell me his story. He say, I used to preach. I had a church. I had 2 churches. I was an overseer of 2 churches. And the man just began to talk to me. And as he began to talk to me, his strength was being renewed. I'm talking about, he was talking with power when he started talking about God. Now, he in his own strength, he was old and he was feeble. When he started talking about God, there's a power came over this man. So I'm standing there and I'm listening to him. And I'm like, wow. As we finished talking and everything, I was getting ready to leave. He said, let me pray for you. And I said, huh? He said, come, let me pray for you. And I said, yes, sir. So I walked back over there. I said that to say this. I want to tell you about the power of prayer. Prayer is so powerful that right now, God is answering the prayers of a dead person. I say God is answering the prayers of people that are dead. Your mama prayed for you. Your grandma prayed for you. Your granddaddy prayed for you. Your daddy prayed for you. And they may be in their grave right now, but look at your life. That man prayed for me. When that man began to pray for me, he prayed that one day I'll change lives. He prayed that one day I have such an anointing on me that it'll break yokes. He prayed that God would give me such a unique anointing that people would be drawn to it. Now, I didn't change right then. And there was many more years that I did crimes even after that prayer. But look at my life now. But I want to encourage somebody about the power of prayer. Prayer is so powerful that God's still answering the prayers of dead people. That man gone on to glory. But look at my life now. I want to encourage y'all to keep praying. But let me finish the end of the story. So when he finished praying for me, I started walking out the house, right? But there was something in my spirit that was unsettled, and I didn't understand what it was. As I'm walking, I'm like, okay, am I missing something, God? So I'm talking to God like, God, why am I feeling, what's the conviction? I couldn't figure it out. As I was getting near to open the door, I heard God say, put the insurance money back. And I froze. I whipped that book bag around so fast, took that box out, tipped back to that table because he was still in the room. And I set that box back down on that table, turned my little behind around, and went out that door and shut that door. I sure did. But listen, I want to encourage you to keep praying. Keep praying for your children. Keep praying for your grandchildren. Keep praying for your life. Keep praying for your husband and keep praying for your wife because God do answer prayers. God is still answering the prayers of dead people right now. In Romans 10:1, Paul prayed for our salvation. In Romans 15:5-6, Paul prayed for our harmony and sympathy towards one another. In 1 Corinthians 16:23, Paul prayed for God's mercy over our lives. And if it had not been for the Lord on my side, I don't know where I'd be. So I want you to know that even though they may be dead and in their grave, God's still answering prayers. You think that because you prayed and it didn't happen right then, that God didn't hear you. But I come to encourage you that God has inclined his ear to you and he has heard you. That seed is in the ground. And one day you're going to reap harvest. Push. I want to leave this with you. Push. Push until something happens. P, push. U, until. S, something. H, happens. Continue to push in prayer and do not give up. God is still answering prayers. Y'all be blessed now, you hear?